Frankfurt and Football Club Barcelona. It is the first time that these two sides will meet each other in a competitive fixture, as Barça will look to hand the German side their first ever home loss in this competition. Far from being an easy task, as 55,000 fans have packed the Deutsche Bank Stadium. However, we trust in Xavi's side, of course, for them to pass this hurdle with flying colors. We are 30 minutes or so away from kickoff, so let's get into it.
Molt forts, l'equip alemany sempre és complicat. Potser la gent pot pensar que és fàcil perquè molt poca gent coneix els seus jugadors, però és un rival molt difícil, una roca que ens ha tocat. Per ells és el partit de la seva vida, no?
Sí, està clar, per a nosaltres és un partit molt important, és la primera vegada que venim així, volem aconseguir aquesta primera victòria i bueno, també sabem que per a ells va ser un partit històric.
Maximum concentration indeed, as the team is slowly but surely arriving to the Deutsche Bank Park, ready to face this first leg of the quarterfinals. Joining us in the studio today, we have Robert van Eckhout, Pau Casassa, and Bruno Ballester. Gentlemen, what a tough match this is going to be.
It is going to be a tough match. Very encouraged, though, by the team's recent form and hoping that we can put together another convincing win.
That's it, Pau. I mean, undefeated at home in this competition throughout this history at this stage. Like I said, tough matchup.
A new challenge for our first team, and hopefully they really look into overcoming it.
Bruno, also excited, of course, for this matchup.
Absolutely, 5 games remaining and the possibility to win a competition. A long way remaining yet, but of course the real chance is there to win again a European trophy.
That's it. And on all of our minds, of course, at this point in time is seeing the starting 11 of Xavi Hernandez ahead of this game against Eintracht Frankfurt. And for that, why don't we head on over to Germany to connect with Mai Rostro, who will give us that starting 11. Mai, over to you.
Hello, Diego. Good night. Yes, indeed. We're here in Frankfurt, ready to see this first match between Barça and Eintracht Frankfurt for the very first time. We already know the lineup for tonight's game. Let's take a look on it because Xavi decided to start this game with Marc-André ter Stegen in goal, Araujo, Piqué, Eric Garcia, and Jordi Alba in defense. Then in midfield, Sergio Busquets, Pedri, and Gavi, and up front, Adama, Aubameyang, and our 19, Ferran Torres. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you for that. Mai. We'll be connecting with you a little bit later to find out the starting 11 of the home side as well. But gentlemen, this starting 11 ready to make history over there in Germany without Dembele and Frenkie de Jong in the starting lineup.
Yes, a few changes in the lineup for Xavi Hernandez today. He did say there are lots of games coming up. We're going to have to rotate. We're going to have to put in a few changes. Obviously, there's one at right back with Dani Alves not being registered for this competition. Frenkie de Jong gets some rest as well, and Gavi gets the start. We hadn't seen that in quite a while. And after a few games with minimal participation, Adama back in the lineup, I'm sure he'll be highly motivated to make an impact and prove that he can start in that spot as well.
Yes, he played against Galatasaray, I believe, the last game that we saw him starting, and maybe he was kind of individual. He needs to be collective and find these relations with the teammates that will allow him to be more unpredictable and recover those nice feelings that he showed in the first games, that without doubt he will do. And regarding Gavi being back on the team, I guess that Xavi is expecting probably more possession. Frenkie is a player that arrives more often into the box. Gavi will be closer to where the ball is, and hopefully we will have that patience to overcome the Eintracht players.
It's great to see the lineup because in the end you see today Adama and Gavi replacing De Jong and Dembélé. And we are talking about two fantastic players, Adama and Gavi. Of course, we are all really excited always when we see Gavi playing. So this is something fantastic for Barça at this stage of the season, to have the possibility to make some changes in the starting lineup. And it doesn't matter, it's fantastic because all the players are of course, great performances from all of them.
It doesn't seem that long ago where we were talking about just how injury-ridden or COVID-ridden this team was at some point. Now the squad is so deep, and Xavi, of course, having that luxury to rotate these players around. No surprise neither with Ronald Araujo in the wing-back position.
No, I think we kind of assumed that. Listening to Xavi again yesterday with high praise for Ronald Araujo and his decision-making. And Araujo on the ball, he said yesterday, we know what he can do in terms of defending, but he's improved so much over the last few weeks with the ball, his decision-making, how he can find midfielders, he can play the pass through straight to our number 9. It was pretty clear yesterday when Xavi was talking about him that the option today, starting at right back, would be Ronald Araujo.
Well, why don't we take a listen from our head coach ahead of this first leg of the quarterfinals and see if we can get any more clear ideas of his thoughts ahead of this match.
Doncs sí, tot just en directe. Acabem de donar l'11 i a la prèvia dels partits...
We just seen the number 11, Xavi.
Acabem de veure l'11, tu ja anunciaves que hi podria haver alguna rotació, 3 canvis...
We knew there could be some rotations, but you've made 3 of them today from the game against Sevilla.
Poques coses, però de tenir a tots els jugadors implicats.
Bé, tothom... al final tothom es mereix jugar.
In the end, everybody deserves to play. Everybody's been training very well. I've made a few changes. Frankie de Jong has had a lot of minutes with the national team as well, so I've rotated him out. Everybody deserves to play. It's just a pity that I can't play everybody all the time. Whoever plays, though, I think will be competitive. It's going to be an extraordinary atmosphere here today up against a difficult opposition. They're unknown for many people, but they're very tough. Got Alves can't play today. He's not enrolled. And several players are unavailable on the left-hand side. Is this one of the dangerous areas of play for Eintracht Frankfurt? Araujo's been playing there. He's a guarantee for us on the right. He's a good attacker. We think that this is the best 11 for the tie, and we'll try to match the energy that Eintracht Frankfurt will put into what is certainly their biggest game of their lives. We've seen the team rise to the occasion in tough atmospheres in Napoli and against Galatasaray. Are you going to continue faithful to your style for this one? We'll always keep faithful to our style. We'll always try to keep the ball in the opposition half and create chances. In the last 2.5, 3 months, we've had a good dynamic, but it's a big test today. We hope to go through.
Of course, we hope that this good dynamic will continue on this evening. Why don't we head back on over to Frankfurt to now get an idea of the starting 11 of the home side and get an idea of the key players that we need to look out to. Mai.
Yes, Diego, indeed we have the lineup for the home team. This first game between Eintracht Frankfurt and Barça. The home team will play with Kevin Trapp in goal, back 3 with Tuta, Hinteregger and Endika, then Nauf, Jakic, So and Kostic, and up front Lindstrom, Lucas Borré and Kamada. Coach Oliver Glasner decided to start with this lineup against Barça in this first leg.
Thank you for that, Mai, and I commend you for your German pronunciation there, gentlemen.
It was complicated.
It was complicated. It always is, of course, with those northern or southern sides. But, gentlemen, yes, your thoughts on this starting 11 from Oliver Glasner?
Yes, no changes compared to what he did against Real Betis. We could say he's got his favourite starting 11 out there. A few players to keep an eye on, as we were talking about yesterday on the countdown. Kostic, especially at set pieces, and he's one of their prime creators. Japanese player Kamada as well. Yeah. Lots of talented attacking midfielders in there. Lindstrom as well. But a team that has struggled to score lately, 2 consecutive 0-0 draws. We'll see how they fare against Barca.
Pau, we talked about it, as Robert mentioned in the countdown yesterday. This side, not necessarily a side that has one clear goal poacher, but the goals are very much spread out throughout the entire team.
It's a team that plays very collectively, both recovering and when trying to score as well. At the end, you can see that they have a clear identity on how they want to play, and they depend a lot on how they recover. They like to when they dominated the most against Real Betis was when Betis had a higher possession, which proves that at the end most of the occasions came from recovering, and whoever is the player that is around it will be the one capable of scoring. Also, they have the two wingers that really play with all the depth. They go up and down constantly. They generate those advantages in those spaces, and so that makes probably what you were saying, that many players can actually score and add goals.
Bruno, we heard from Oliver Glasner yesterday also talking about the fact that he wants to go for this match. He wants to take this match to Barça. We're not going to be seeing a German side that's going to be sitting back for 90 minutes.
No, I don't think we have to expect this. And actually, also Xavi mentioned it yesterday in the pre-match press conference that in the end, Eintracht are playing in a system that is not really usual in Spain. This 3-4-3, so they will have to take it into account and analyze it well, because they play in a particular style. So of course the Blaugranas will have to focus on this way of playing of Eintracht, and for sure it's an historic chance for them as well, and they are gonna go for the win since the first minute, I'll expect.
I mean, in that sense, he was not shy in mentioning as well that this is, without a question of a doubt, the biggest game in his career. I'm referring to Oliver Glasner here.
Oliver Glasner, and probably 10 of his 11 players, because Kevin Trapp has played against Barca. Not great memories for him since he last played at Camp Nou. He will be doing that next week, presumably. The last time he faced Barca was that 6-1, of course, against PSG. But obviously a team that will be highly motivated, encouraged by the 55,000 fans that will be there in the stadium, playing the game of their lives, Xavi said. And Barca will need to be careful with that. Have to match that intensity, basically.
Intensity that will be, of course, amplified by these 55,000 German fans. They'll be packing that stadium for the second time in 2 years. So you can imagine just how excited they will be. Why don't we listen from head coach Oliver Glasner and the midfielder Sebastian Rode as they spoke about Pedri and also Aubameyang.
4-3-3, er ist hier ein sehr auf dieser Achterposition ein Spieler, der in beide Richtungen, der defensiv sehr gut mitarbeitet, aber auch immer wieder gute Lösungen in Ballbesitz hat, der auch immer wieder mit in den Strafraum geht und deswegen torgefährlich wird, und ist sicherlich ein Spieler, der in die Zukunft im spanischen und im europäischen Fußball gehört.
Ober ist ein positiv Verrückter, der unglaubliche sportliche Qualität hat, der aber auch mal im Spiel längere Zeit untertauchen kann und dann aber in der Box auftaucht, um dann das entscheidende Tor zu machen. Von daher muss unsere Abwehr in der Box jederzeit bereit sein, ihn zu verteidigen und aufmerksam sein. Und natürlich weiß jeder, wie schnell er ist. Von daher wird ihn da morgen keiner unterschätzen.
Gentleman, Sebastian Rode referring to Aubameyang as good crazy. Interesting way to characterize him.
We have several good crazies on our team. We have Dani Alves as well today, obviously, who will not be playing tonight. Very accurate there, saying that Aubameyang can kind of go missing for a little while in the game, and then, like classic strikers do, appear in the box and just capitalise on that one opportunity. We've seen him do it several times in games. For example, a game at the Bernabeu, for example, he's not as involved in the team creation during certain points of the game, and then bam.
Same against Galatasaray, of course, and about Oliver Glasner not shying, of course, praising the great season that Pedri is having.
Yes, and it surprised me a little bit that the first thing that he highlighted was how good he was when recovering, because at the end sometimes we forget about that. But Pedri is somebody that normally when he plays, he's the one pressing up front together with the forward player, normally Aubameyang in the past games. And that's going to be key as well to make them feel uncomfortable. Although whenever they kick it long, those rebounds are very important. But again, he knows that Barca also needs those recoveries. That's probably why he highlighted how good Pedri is on that as well. And we all know that Pedri with the ball is giving us that calm. He's managing that tempo in a way that it even looks like he's playing a different sport, honestly. Whoever has played and watches Pedri is like, it's insulting the other players, because at the end he's way too good.
No, that at all. Actually, if you wait a little bit, you pause and you analyze that the manager, in this case from Eintracht Frankfurt, is focusing on the main weapon for Barça, a 19-year-old guy that is called Pedri. It's unbelievable. But it's what it is. It's the reality of this team. It's the reality of this player that is an outstanding player, and he's showing day by day how he's growing. And yeah, today has to be, of course, one of the main weapons for the Blaugranas.
And Bruno, also judging from let's say, body language as well, but also what we heard, some of the statements coming from the German camp, they're feeling themselves ahead of this match. They're very confident going into this time.
Yes, I mean, I think, of course, all German teams are always dangerous, and they know the possibilities. They are self-confident also, and I mean, they also compete against tough sides in their league, like Bayern Munich, of course, Dortmund, Schalke. I mean, there are lots of good teams there in Germany, and why not? They believe that they can beat Barça. And by the way, one of their rivals is also Leipzig, that has drawn 1-1 against Atalanta in the first game played of the Europa League. The next two will play now at 9 o'clock. But yeah, Leipzig is another great team and another of the favorites to win this Europa League.
Is it deceiving, the fact that they're sitting 9th in the Bundesliga?
It can be. We saw it with Galatasaray. Said it yesterday. It's just proof that there are no easy opponents. Galatasaray, what were they, 13th in the Turkish league? And then they gave us a really hard time. So Barca will do very well to not underestimate what this team can do. Encouraged by their fans, of course. 50,000 packed stadium in Frankfurt tonight. And Barca just need to go out there, match the intensity, play their own game, and if they do that, the result will come.
It's going to be an electric atmosphere, no doubt about it, in the Deutsche Bank Park. Let me say it right. And on that note, why don't we connect once more with my Rostro to get a sense of what the atmosphere is like.
Yes, guys, as we said it before, this is the first time for Barca playing here at Frankfurt in the Eintracht Stadium. And as you can see, it's completely different from what we used to, because we're in the middle of the forest and we have a lot of places to eat and drink something before the game. Obviously, they have a lot of Frankfurt hot dogs, pretzels, beers, and everything, because the fans obviously arrive here before the match, I think 2 hours before, indeed, because they're getting ready for the game. This is the best way possible to do it for this special match. As you know, all of the fans asked for the tickets, which means full attendance today is the second one of the season and the first one for them in the Europa League. Of course, it's special to see Barca. And as you know, we have Barca fans tonight. More than 1,500 are here to support the team. Many of them come from Peñas and Peñas around Europe. And a lot of them obviously want to enjoy this game against Eintracht Frankfurt.
Well, at this point in time, we would like to hear from you, the fans as well, watching us on YouTube or on Barça TV Plus, and want to share your opinions on Twitter using the hashtag Barça Live. We want to know from you who you think the first scorer of this match will be. Do you think it'll be one of the three forwards? You can see the options on your screen right there. Will it be Adama? Will it be Aubameyang? Or Ferran Torres? Or will it be another player?
I'm going Ferran.
Yeah.
Player who talked yesterday, and very confident. He had his opportunities the other day.
Yes.
Didn't score, but I'm confident that Ferran will get a goal today.
I'm going for Gavi. He hasn't started for a while, so my answer is Other.
And same for me. I'm going to go for Other, but not Gavi. I'm going to say Pedri. Why not? He's on fire. He was the scorer also against Galatasaray last week against Sevilla, so I'm going for Pedri.
So I was going to go for Gavi, but now you make me change my opinion or option. I'm going to go for Araujo. I think let's see, 4 goals so far, no competitions.
On the live chat, overwhelming votes for Aubameyang. Aditsu, Johan Man, Barça Messi, Ashin Lushalu. Lots of votes for Aubameyang, a name that I can't read here. A few Adamas, a few Ferrans as well.
Okay. Well, Ferran is certainly one of the man of the hours, of course. And why don't we hear from our Barça forward as he spoke about Xavi, his time so far at Barça, and also the current form of the team.
Bueno, veig l'equip molt motivat, perquè sabem que bueno, és un partit molt important per a nosaltres. És la primera vegada que visitem aquest estadi i jo crec que estem molt il·lusionats per a intentar aconseguir aquesta primera victòria. Bueno, Xavi des del primer dia m'ha transmitit la seva total confiança, el qual jo crec que ha sigut molt important per a la meva adaptació. Encara estic en aquest procés d'adaptar-me al 100%, però bueno, jo crec que bueno, estic en un bon moment de forma, els números estan arribant i l'important és que també estic ayudando al equipo. Y bueno, para mí es especial jugar aquí, también porque es la primera vez que el Barcelona juega en este estadio contra este club. Y bueno, hay que ir a por la victoria. Sabíamos que el Frankfurt es un rival que bueno, va a ser muy físico, que nos va a plantear un partido muy duro, pero bueno, nosotros tenemos que ir a por nuestro partido. Bueno, sobre todo lo que tú has dicho, al final es un equipo muy físico que viene en un gran estado de forma. Nosotros también lo venimos, pero bueno, tenemos que plantear nuestro partido y a partir de ahí, pues con las 3-4 cosas tácticas que nos diga el míster, adaptarnos.
Well, we're seeing on our screens at least that the German fans have already hoisted their scarves up into the air and are singing their anthem. But guys, on the note of Ferran, he's talking about the team being in excellent form, and one player, of course, we already mentioned, Pedri, couldn't be in any better form.
Yes, and Ferran with high praise, of course, for Pedri yesterday in his press conference. We know that they are good friends. Ferran's doing very well as well. I said the other day he created the opportunities, didn't manage to score. I'm confident that he can do that today. But in every game we see he has 2, 3, 4 opportunities where he could clearly score. And it's a matter of time before he ends up putting them in consistently. We've seen him do it. On the matter of Pedri, what can we say? I mean, it's just outstanding what the impact that he has on how the team plays. I keep saying this show after show after show, but it just impresses me so much how he is the one who can speed up or slow down the game just by how he moves.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it might sound redundant, but we have to keep repeating it because, as Bruno mentioned as well, just 19 years of age, and he's become an absolute leader of this dressing room already.
Yeah, and let's see now how he manages that pressure that everybody is speaking about him. So far, he hasn't changed much, and he continues to do the same, and that's what we want to see. Today, I'm really excited to see him again with Gavi in the middle of the field together with Busquets, because at the end they really look for each other. And I don't know if he is going to play on the right side or maybe he remains on the left.
And one last thing about Ferran, also, I read the other day, and it was true. We talk a lot about all the chances that he missed, but have you analyzed, or can you think about another player that created so many chances like Ferran? In the world or in general? Not really.
The ones he creates for himself and the ones he creates for his teammates as well. I like to think of him a little bit like Pedro back in the day.
Yes.
Very tactically intelligent, always in the right place, took his opportunities as well. It took a while for him to get a spot in the first team. Ferran has obviously come in and made an impact immediately, but he's been outstanding in that sense.
And he doesn't rush much.
No.
Like whenever we arrive there, if he has to pass it back, he does it, and he feels comfortable on that, which is something that reminds me to Pedro as well, no? That, like, being that one that doesn't rush and keeps playing calmly.
And from Pedro back to Pedri, of course, we also saw him do ever so well against the more tight defense against the likes of Galatasaray, scoring an absolute stunner.
Yes, it's a shame we can't show the goal that he scored this weekend, La Liga rights and all that, but we can show you this one, which was an absolute work of art, and it's got some similarities to what he did against Sevilla as well. Just the poise, how he waits for his moment. He has 2 chances to shoot, but lets defenders slide by. Just the composure to do that, it's simply amazing.
For me, another of the best things of Pedri is that he's a decisive player. He can decide games by himself, doing things like this one, and this is something really important because, of course, a midfielder can create, can assist, can give you lots of things to your team, but to win games like Pedri is doing, and with just 19 years old, I think that's something to value a lot.
And having that capacity of scoring, that is something at the end that whenever Andrés Iniesta was playing with us was something that was very demanded from other people, though Iniesta was providing a lot of things. Pedri does that too, right? He makes that final pass, but also is proving now that he has this capacity of being calm right in front of the goalkeeper.
And they always say that to score goals is about the age, but in this case Pedri is so young and he's already scoring lots of goals.
Well, similar to a ritual they have is Benfica, right? With the Eagle.
Yep.
Eagle is also out over in the Deutsche Bank Park, but at this point in time, we heard from your first scorer. Now what we would like to know from you is what worries you the most about this Eintracht Frankfurt team?
I would be lying if I said no worries, because when you listen to Xavi in the press conference talk so seriously about the opponent and how they're a very tough nut to crack, how we weren't lucky in the draw, you have to believe it. Obviously, a coach is never going to say anything like bad about the opponent, but I'm going to go ahead and say I'm worried about their counterattacks. Even though we've done very well in defense lately, keeping clean sheets, being very secure at the back, just one mistake can give them the opportunity to capitalize. So we can't allow those mistakes to happen, as Xavi was saying yesterday in the press conference.
And something that Barça have suffered from earlier on this season. Wow.
Totally. I would pick the same one. I would say I'm excited about the counterattacks to see how Barca manages those. I don't see, for what I saw in the previous games, we can generate a lot of chances tonight. That's my feeling. They have 3 players at the back, but they leave the backward positions all the time. They follow players, and Aubameyang is a clever player in making those movements, and we will generate chances for sure.
I will add another option, if you allow me, that is the individual talent of some of their players that I think that, we have been talking about them, Kostic or Kamada. The ones up front are dangerous players, and they don't really need the whole team, just themselves. They are able to create problems. So, they have individual good players.
Well, in this team, we trust, of course, to hand the German side their first home loss ever in this competition. The same thing that they did 3 weeks ago over in Istanbul. There we're seeing images of the dressing room as we're getting closer to kickoff. We know the starting 11s, and as we can see, the fans have taken their seats, and Mai will be itching to take her seat as well, but we can't let her go, and we can't let you go neither without, of course, your score prediction. It's part of the Matchday Challenge. It's a competition that you can take part in through the Barça app and the website as well. You can guess the score, take part of the game quiz, or rating the game. All that will allow you to accumulate points and, of course, win these exclusive prizes such as jerseys or, who knows, a trip over here to Barcelona to the Clásico next season. Yes. But, so let us hear from you in the comments section over on YouTube or on Twitter using the hashtag Barça Live. But let me ask the gentleman first here.
Guests first?
Sure.
All right, Paul, you go first.
Okay, I'm going to say 0-3 for us.
0-3, wow.
3-1 up for Barça.
3-1 up for Barca. I think it's going to be a tight one today. I'm not as confident as these guys. I'm going to go for a 2-1.
2-1, okay. Closer margin. So, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Eintracht Frankfurt had, that rotating GIF where you could grab a screenshot and the score will come up. I'm not going to tell you my score, but instead I'll flip it. I'm going to go 3-2 Barça. Did it twice. Same result, but 3-2 Barça. Mai, like I said, I know you'll be itching to take your seat, but we can't let you go without knowing your score prediction for today's match.
Well, Diego, yes, this is our last connection because we have to go inside to take our position. Kickoff is just some minutes away, so we have to go there. As you know, in UEFA competition, we're not allowed to talk and connect during the game, but we will do it for sure after that. We hope that is with a victory. Sunglass, our camera guy, and I would say we're going to win 2-0 tonight. We hope is that the case. I want to know your predictions, guys, so let's back to you, and we will connect after the game.
Well, we gave our prediction already.
Just a refresher here, because I voted on the Barca app. The most voted result is Paul's, 3-1. 24% of the voters went for that result. 2-1, which was mine, was voted by 15%. There was a 2-0 as well. That was yours?
No, 2-1, mine, Pau 2-0.
Oh, 3-0.
Okay, 3.
Yeah.
All right, okay, I messed it up. I messed it up. Who did 3-1? No one.
No, I did
3-1. Okay, Bruno's. All right, let's go over the lineups. I messed it up. Let's start with the Barca lineup for tonight's game. starting with Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal, Ronald Araujo, Piqué, Eric and Jordi Alba in defense, Sergio Busquets, Gavi and Pedri in midfield, and Adama, Aubameyang and Ferran Torres up at the top on the side of our screens there. We can see the substitutes for tonight's game. For Eintracht Frankfurt, the starting lineup with that 3-4-3 formation is formed by Kevin Trapp in goal, Tuta, Hinteregger and Ndika at the back, a midfielder 4 with Nauf, Jakic, Son and Kostic, and up front it's Lindstrom, Borré and Kamada.